The now-deceased hip-hop recording artist known as 2Pac Shakur made millions before being gunned down in a drive-by shooting nearly 13 years ago in Las Vegas. He left behind a legacy of music that spoke of the hardships of living amidst violence in our nation's ghettos and the sometimes frequent conflicts plaguing the rap recording industry. The following is a feature in which I spoke with one of the rapper's friends and former producers, who is also alive today to tell how the Lord saved him out of that sometimes violent setting.
In the music industry, they called me K-Lo. I was born and raised in Harlem, New York.
Music producer Kevin Rames.
I was one of those guys that would play music real loud, I would mix up beats and use tape recorders and play everything at one time, so it sounded like, wow, what is all of that?
And so from there, Kevin Rames' music career was launched as his music ambitions would catch the attention of rap music producers. In time, he made a name for himself, becoming part of a group called Live Squad and later Thug Life. Kevin says as a child growing up in Harlem, he didn't know the Lord and family life was troubled.
At the time, my mother and father was going through problems, so she moved to Queens. And then I moved again to a place called Hollis, Queens.
Kevin continued to grow into a young man, and by his teenage years, he had seen and experienced a lot in a community troubled by gang life and perpetual feelings of isolation.
It was very difficult because I moved into a neighborhood where everybody was selling crack, pretty much. The guys in the group that I was with, they were hustlers. And that's when I was introduced to that lifestyle. Not that I did it. It's just I was around a lot of people who was doing it. Everybody got on big truck jewelry. My jewelry wasn't nothing compared to those, even though I had a lot. But they had big cables, medallions, but that was the thing in New York at that time.
Internally, Kevin's soul and spirit was restless and in need of peace not easily found in the world in which he lived.
I was running around New York like I'm tired of this anger that's on the streets. Everybody got anger. You can't even look at somebody without them wanting to do something. Man, I had my guns in my waist, and it was like I was ready to take a life. I never killed nobody, came close to it. But then I was always the type that would try and bring peace.
In spite of what was going on around him, Kevin's love for music flourished after being discovered by rap industry makers. They in turn introduced him to up-and-coming rap star 2Pac Shakur. Kevin says at first sight he wasn't too impressed.
He was like one of those outspoken guys, just full of energy, always want to rhyme, want to hear you rhyme, want to hear your beats. So it was this little guy. He was a little scrawny guy. So we like, man,
But Kevin soon realized appearances are deceiving. He handed the rap artist a piece of his music for refinement. Kevin says 2Pac received it and took it to a level he had never known. The two formed a partnership and became very good friends.
We created a tour, a promotional tour, a Thug Life tour. We were a group that we would tell little kids, don't grow up to do bad things, don't live the life of a hustler, don't be a drug dealer, don't do all of these things.
To his surprise, and everyone else's,
we didn't know that it was going to really take off like that. It did, and his career just, because 2Pac was very, very talented, very brilliant. I mean, we'll be in the studio one night and he'll do like 10 songs.
Kevin says he and 2Pac tried to build an image that addressed the needs and problems associated with ghettos. Though he was not a believer in Christ, it was evident that it was in Kevin's heart to help his community.
Thug Life tried to encourage a lot of brothers that's on the street that could not find jobs. They served a lot of time in prison, and when they get out on the streets, they don't have no way of surviving. So while we out there, we telling these dudes, look, everybody who served time in the joint, come to the front, man. How many of you having problems out here, can't get no job, the government don't care about you, and you hear the whole crowd screaming, yeah. So we was trying to show them that we're being a voice for y'all. Not for y'all to go out there and kill and sell drugs and shoot. It's just more of a thing like saying, look, we understand.
It was the mid-1990s, and 2Pac's music was doing extremely well in the hip-hop community. Kevin and Thug Life were making lots of money, more at times than they knew what to do with a lifestyle that's indicative of a world out of control. Still, Kevin says his thoughts always gravitated back to the main thing.
I had a lot of jewelry all in my mouth, all in my ears, all on my wrists. And that happened before I got into the music industry. I had my jewels way before that. I got a pocket full of money, a couple of $1,000 in my pocket, just spending money and just doing my beats because I would take my equipment with me on the road. So it was always a time when I'm creating. It wasn't always sex, money, and drugs. It was always, look, this is our business, and we have to stay on top of the business, and then I had people who give me gifts. I actually felt not like I was a dime, but I had a lot of girlfriends. And some of them had a lot of money, and some of them would buy me things.
Still in his 20s, Kevin was living the high life, but it all began to collapse when he lost his closest friend to street violence. And then, on the night of September 7th, 1996, 2Pac Shakur was murdered in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. He died several days later of respiratory failure and cardiac arrest. Kevin was devastated. After talks with an influential grandmother figure and other influences in his life who pointed him toward the church, Kevin began seeking the Lord. In his room alone, he bowed his head and declared,
I'm not even going to say to Our Father who art in heaven, or now lay me down to sleep. I said, look, I don't know how to pray to you, but I'm just asking you to please help me. You know, look over us. Things is happening. I don't understand why, but I need you right now, man, to just hold me, man. Hold me down. Show me what to do.
He continued to seek advice. Someone told him to read the Bible.
And I prayed and asked you, just please show me, man. So I would open the Bible and it would land on something. And it landed on, but it said, he who's a friend of the world is an enemy to God. And I said, whoa. I mean, I got jewels in my mouth, jewels all on I took everything off my body. I took the earrings, I took the gold out my mouth. I mean, I took anything that was on the world, even my garments. So I was nothing but skin in a dark room. And I cried, man, because I can't believe my friend got killed. I can't believe all this is happening. And all what we built, I've seen like it was falling apart. So I said, Jesus, I don't have nothing on my body. I said, if you show yourself to me, I said, the same way how I'm representing this thug life, I'm going to represent you. But I don't want the millions no more. I don't want the money. I don't care about nothing. I said, but please show me your knowledge.
Through a series of encounters with some Christians in his life, the Lord answered Kevin's prayers as he continued to grapple with the loss of his friends.
I stopped smoking. I stopped having sex. I was telling people on the phone, hey, I go to church now, and different reactions from the women that I was dealing with, and it really saddened me. But what Christ did for me was so powerful, I didn't care about nothing else. Because I was going crazy once I lost Stretch, I lost Pac, Biggie. I was going to do half a Biggie album before he died. So I was walking around lost.
Though he still had a name in the rap industry, Kevin walked away from it all, foregoing lucrative contracts along the way. Today, Kevin is married with children. He still produces music to the glory of Christ as he travels the streets of Chicago and beyond, speaking to youth about the love he's found in Christ.
You know, when God changed my mind, he changed that hate to love. Because one thing that I've learned is that this whole thing about grace is about love.
Reporting for Primetime America, I'm Tracy Haney.